Wow, what's good, family? It's me, Code 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Broadcasting Community. Shout out to the Louisiana All American Sports Network. Last but definitely not least, shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about my favorite NBA team, the New Orleans Pelicans. NBA training camp is underway. The preseason has started, and the NBA season will be here before you know it. So I want to talk about my favorite NBA team, the New Orleans Pelicans. First and foremost, before we get deep into the Pelicans, one thing I want to point out is the franchise player of the Pelicans, Zion Williamson. He has lost a tremendous amount of weight, so hopefully he could be and stay healthy this entire season. I think for the Pelicans, I think Zion is the key and a focal point to their success. Him staying healthy, him managing his weight, him keeping his weight under control, but more than anything, him staying on the court and being happy and healthy and whole. Then going to Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is in the last year of his contract with the Pelicans. He's a little bit agitated and upset because he didn't get the contract extension he coveted. You know, he wanted a max extension. He wanted a 4-year contract extension. He didn't get it. In addition to that, he wanted his contract extension. The Pelicans tried to trade him. No teams really bit on him in terms of trade bait. So it's going to be interesting to see, what happens with Brandon Ingram. Hopefully he balls out, he plays well, and him and the Pelicans organization could come to some type of contract extension that's favorable to both sides, because a good deal is only a good deal is if it's a good deal to both sides. If both sides think it's fair, cool. But if not, then it's a bad deal. And then our new acquisition, DeJounte Murray. I think getting DeJounte Murray from the Atlanta Hawks is a big move. I think the issue with getting DeJounte Murray is you had to give up Larry Nance Jr. to get him. I'm not a huge proponent of that. I think just like Jose Alvarado is huge off the bench in terms of giving the Pels a spark and uplifting the second unit when he comes off the bench. I think Larry Nance Jr. had that same effect. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not as good a player as his dad was, Larry Nance Sr., but at the same token, Larry Nance Jr. was a dog. He's undersized, but today's modern NBA, it's a lot of small ball to begin with. So, I think losing Larry Nance Jr. was a big loss for the Pelicans. And additionally, also another big loss is losing Jonas Valanciunas. Now, a lot of people wasn't really high on Jonas Valanciunas. They really weren't big on him. But the thing about it is, he was a legitimate center, legitimate starting center in the NBA. He gave him a certain degree of size and a presence inside. Of course, he wasn't the most dominant. It's not like he was Shaq-like dominant, but he had a good post game. He had a good shot. He could shoot the three ball. And more than anything, he was fundamentally sound. He wasn't the most athletic big. He's not as athletic as somebody like a Jared Allen. But even with that being said, Jonas Valanciunas was a good piece. They lost him to the Washington Wizards. And it's going to be interesting to see how does Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and DeJounte Murray, how do those pieces come together? Can you bring DeJounte Murray, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson together? And then not only that, but DeJounte Murray, he's really not, in my opinion, he's not a pure point guard. He's more of a combo guard. And then on top of that, like Zion likes to handle the ball a lot. So, where do these three pieces fit into the puzzle? And if Brandon Ingram does have an excellent season, is he going to walk and leave for greener pastures? I mean, these are some interesting questions that we need to ask as Pelicans fans. And in addition to that, losing Jonas Valanciunas, you really have no real big. They drafted a center, but truthfully speaking, realistically, you don't want Daniel Theis from the Celtics, who used to play for the Celtics. He's on like 6'7", 6'8". You don't want him to have to be starting center for that. You can let Zion Williamson be starting center, to be truthful. So at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see what the Pelicans do in terms of the season. The West is loaded, it's stacked. You know, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder. Uh, and I mean, you have, you know, Memphis Grizzlies getting Ja Morant back. You got the Sacramento Kings. I'm not really counting too much on the Golden State Warriors. You know, with them losing Klay Thompson, you got the Dallas Mavericks. So, you know, the West is a loaded conference. You know, hopefully the Pels could get a top 4 spot in the Western Conference playoffs. Hopefully they can make a good playoff run. More than anything, I think to have any type of success, Zion Williamson is going to have to stay healthy. And after keeping Zion healthy, Brandon Ingram going to have to bring his A game because truthfully speaking, them losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference playoffs, he was a huge issue. Him and CJ McCollum, they really wasn't effective, you know. For Lou Dort to lock down Brandon Ingram the way he did, and for CJ McCollum to look as ineffective as he did. Truthfully speaking, you know, I was a huge fan of CJ McCollum when he was with the Portland Trailblazers. But at this point, I hate to say it, I think he's in the twilight of his career. Herb Jones is the best defender that the New Orleans Pelicans have. So how can Willie Green make all these pieces come together with Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram and DeJounte Murray and Herb Jones and C.J. McCollum? Who's going to come off the bench? Who's going to be the sixth man off the bench? Besides Jose Alvarado, we know Grand Theft Alvarado, you know, he kind of like the spark plug off the bench. But these guys I'm naming, like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson and C.J. McCollum and DeJounte Murray and Herb Jones, you know, which one of these guys, who's going to come off the bench for that particular group? It's going to be interesting to see, you know, who comes off the bench, who starts, and more than anything, who's going to be the starting center? You know, is Willie Green going to play more small ball than anything? Do the Pelicans have another center I'm unaware of? But more than anything, you know, hopefully the Pelicans does well. They get a top 4 seed in the West, and they make a deep playoff run. But that's it for this video. If you found any value in this video, like the video, share the video, comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel. Also click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos. Go check out my brother Jared 11 Green on his channel. Today, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Southern Baller Show with himself, his twin JB, myself, and the rest of the panel. Also, go check out my brother Brent Fox on his channel. This is me starring Brent Fox with his show. Go check out my brother Cadillac Red, Supreme Beast Boxing Talk, and his backup channel Supreme Beast After Hours. And go check out my brother 7A Sports TV with his backup channel, the LDBC General. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal day. Peace and blessings.